وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أعاذني الله وإياكم من النار. Before I start khutbah, inshallah, I'm expecting a lot of people to come in today, inshallah. So if you move forward a little bit, so we can have enough room for everyone. Please move forward, inshallah. Our khutbah today touches about a very important topic also, and that is crossing the boundaries of culture and tradition. You know, we have been prevented, as I can say, cultures and traditions by practicing our religion. That as Muslims we need to free ourselves from this culture that are not benefit the community for ourselves. Because some of us today we are so prone, or we are so committed to our cultures than to our religion. In fact, we put a lot of emphasis into the culture and encourage and learn and apply then our religion. So we need to cross those boundaries and reach our religion. We need to cross those boundaries, the boundaries of culture. And we know every community, Muslim community, have one cultures and traditions. And these traditions and cultures, some of them, they're against Islam. Some of these cultures and traditions that we have made for ourselves and we have inherited from our forefathers, they are going some of them opposite the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With regard to that, we need to drop it off. The time of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was sent, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a same culture. The Arabs, they have their own culture. And this culture was the culture that was the foundation of the community, where they used to see and follow because there was no religion. But when Islam came, it stopped and prevented all these cultures that are not beneficial to the community. In fact, these cultures, some of these cultures are dividing the community. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explained that in the Quran. He says, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ تَعَالَوْا إِلَى مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ. And when they are told to come close to what Allah has revealed, قالوا حسبنا ما وجدنا عليه آباءنا. He said, enough is for us for what we have inherited from our forefathers. Enough for us is whatever we have inherited from our forefathers. وإذا قيل لهم, if they are told come close to the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, apply it and follow it, they say, no, we want to stick to the traditions and cultures of our forefathers. أولو كان آباؤهم لا يعقلون شيئا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, their forefathers have no guts and understanding. If they don't have understanding, and what will happen? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. So these are one of the examples Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has changed many cultures the Arabs used to have. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent, they said, أَجَعَلَ الْآلِهَةَ إِلَهًا وَاحِدًا. They couldn't stomach, they couldn't understand. How on earth will we will worship only one ilah? That we have so many ilah. أَجَعَلَ الْآلِهَةَ, has he made the ilah, the idols, one? إِنَّ هَذَا لَشَيْءٌ عِجَابٌ. Indeed, it's something amazing. It is something amazing. And then they say, at the end, after that ayah, مَا سَمِعْنَا بِهَذَا. When they say, we have never heard this from our forefathers. We have never found this in our forefathers. So the dalil and the evidence they're giving to the people is that this is inheritance from their forefathers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us whatever they have inherited from forefathers, all these inheritance they have inherited from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, or are they true? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, some of the traditions and cultures we apply today, from one community to other community. I'll just go through some of them, inshallah, so that we understand. One of the cultures that we introduce today in our community is the culture of seeing someone, and which is a ni'mah, there's no problem with that. And the Arabs used to do it. Whenever they see someone who has got a lot of children, especially boys, they used to raise their head up. They used to honor him. Just because of what? Just because of that kids Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to them. If they see someone doesn't have a children, they will look him down. He will not be welcomed in the community. He will not be welcomed in the community. But when they see someone who has, alhamdulillah, Allah has given him, kids, boys and girls, and especially boys, then this person is respected in the community. This was their culture. And that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They said, why would not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send a person from a person who's known in the community, who has got wealth and children and status in the community, instead of sending this person who's an orphan, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who doesn't have money, who doesn't have even boys, he has got only daughters. That's what they have said. Because that was their status, that was what they believed. That the person who has got the more children you have in the community, the more people will dignify you, the more people will honor you, the more people, and that is how it was. But still that culture, we practice it today. And there's no problem, a person Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him that. But you shouldn't look down on the person whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not given him children. Or we should not look down on the person Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has not given them boys, only girls. Because girls in the Arab community was a shame. Someone who was given only has girls in the community, it was just like a curse. وَإِذَا بُشِّرَ أَحَدُهُمْ بِالْأُنْثَى ظَلَّ وَجْهُهُ مُسْوَدًّا وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. If he's been given glad tidings that you have got a daughter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says his face will be black in sadness. He cannot stomach it. He cannot understand it. What on earth is this? This to be ashamed. This to be ashamed. Whenever they hear that your newborn baby is a girl, and they look down. Don't we not have that culture and tradition today in the Muslim community, in every community? Of course we have. Who is the one who's giving a boy and who is the one who's giving a girl? Are you being given a boy because you are honored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or you've been given a girl or a baby girl just because Allah doesn't like you or love you? That is not the case. That is not the case. So the Arabs, they used to marry, when they see a woman just gives birth to a girl, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, they used to go and marry another woman. They used to go marry another woman. And then, so one man, he married a woman, a wife, and she had only given birth to girls. 7, 8 girls. And that was something, imagine, this guy was losing his status in the community. As much knowledge you have, you lose your status in the community just because you have got girls. So this guy went to marry another wife and he got kids and he had got only boys. He leaves his old wife. He's staying with his new wife. So the old wife says, Mali Abi Hamza la ya'tina. Why is Abu Hamza not coming to us? يظل في البيت الذي يلينا. He's always in the next door. The woman, the wife has got boys. غضبان ألا نلد البنين, is angry because we don't give birth to boys. تالله ما ذاك في أيدينا, that is not in our hands. She said, why is he not coming to us? He's just on the next door. The woman was given boys. He's angry because of that. Is that in our hands? This was the character of the Arabs used to do, ya ikhwan. So in Islam, boys and girls are the same. We have this culture we have in our community. Whenever we have kids, whenever we have boys, we celebrate. We give, all the kind of food, goats, and even, big drums and everything. But when you have got girls, you slip it from the community. You don't even to hear your name. You don't want even people to hear your name just because of you have got girls in the community. And that is not good, ya ikhwan. Boys and girls are being given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they're all equal before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they're all the same before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَالْمُسْلِمَاتِ وَالْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ, the same believers, men and women. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this culture never existed in the time of Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One of the other cultures that we practice here, ikhwan, is marriage also. That as a community, we only want to marry from our community. There's no problem with that, alhamdulillah. It's okay. We can marry from our community, or we can even marry from close family. It's no problem. But it happens sometimes, someone gets married from another community. It gets married from another community, from another nationality. And the family are not happy with that. The family are not happy with a foreigner marrying from their family or from their that. And what happens? Why? Are we not equal? Are we not all Muslims? Are we not saying La ilaha illallah? What is the difference between ourselves? Bilal radiallahu anhu, you married the sister of Abdurrahman ibn Auf, and you know Bilal was a black man. He married the sister of Abdurrahman ibn Auf, one asharatul mubashirin bil jannah. The status in Islam is al-iman and al-akhlaq. It is not just money or something. And I had a case myself just some few months ago. A brother came to me and said, my son wants to get married. The daughter and the son, they want to get married, they're fine. And from different nationality. He said, my son now is in a hotel. The family wants to kill him and the daughter. They want to kill him, they're looking for him to kill him off. What is that jahl in the community? Is that to extent we go as a Muslims, kill your own brother? Yeah, this is shame really. Where does that come from? Where does it say that a Muslim cannot marry your daughter? That's the culture that we are practicing today. And this is ignorance. Allah Prophet ﷺ says, دَعُوهَا فَإِنَّهَا مُمْتِنَا. Leave it, it is stinking, the Prophet ﷺ. لا فضل لعربي على عجمي ولا عجمي على عربي. An Arab has no superiority to non-Arab. And non-Arab has no superiority to an Arab. We are all one from Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. And those of us who are living in this country, I just want to advise, all of us, we have got boys and girls. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us. Listen, brothers, I'll just tell you that we are not living in our original country. Really. Everyone sitting here, we are coming from our original country. We are not living in a different, society, community. You do not expect your children to be like you. You never expect that. And you will be very, very lucky in coming years that your daughter marries to a Muslim. You'll be very lucky. I'm telling you that. Stomach it now. You will be very lucky to get your daughter married to a Muslim. And we've already seen Muslim ladies and girls now married a non-Muslim. You don't have any power in this country. They can choose whatever they want. So we shouldn't bring that cultural barriers into this country that we have in our own country today. That is not acceptable. We should be looking at the benefit of our children. Once you get a Muslim practicing, إِذَا جَاءَكُمْ مَنْ تَرْضَوْنَ دِينَهُ وَخُلُقَهُ. If a person comes to you with akhlaq and deen, فَزَوِّجُوهُ, the Prophet ﷺ said, you are very lucky to get someone. Regardless of his color and his nationality, or regardless of status, or regardless of wealth, you are very, very lucky. You're very lucky. Other cultures that we practice today is to do with. So these are some of the cultures we practice. Other cultures that we practice today is to do with divorce also. We get women that are divorced, they will never get married again. In some community today we see women as young as 20 years, as young as 25 years, and they haven't got kids, they will never ever marry again because of the culture in the community, or because she will be threatened to get married. Or her husband will threaten her to get married. All the family will threaten her to get married. This is ajab, yeah. It's ajab. Where that comes from? That this person doesn't have desire? That this lady doesn't have feelings? Does she not have what everybody is looking for? Yes. We have seen, ladies as young as 20, as 25, as we have said, that they are not allowed to marry. And if they try to marry, they will be hunted. We have to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, marry those who doesn't have children, who doesn't have husbands. It is ihsan, especially the father. If you see your daughter being divorced for one reason or another, you have to look for a good house, a good husband. And if she brings someone who has akhlaq and deen, you should help her. We should help her. So these are some of the cultures that we have today. Other cultures that we're practicing is practicing to do with food also. Some of us today we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has permitted we to eat from the animals. But we see some of us choosing some parts of the animal, say we don't eat the head, we don't eat the legs, we don't eat the intestine, we don't eat this, the stomach. That is for you. That is for you. If you want to live it. We don't eat this bone and we don't eat that bone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has permitted everything in the animal to be consumed. It's halal for everyone. But from our own culture, we look down everyone and say, are you eating from there? Astaghfirullah. We don't eat from that. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam once was with Khalid bin Walid. They were on a journey and they found a lizard, big lizards. And Khalid went and killed the lizard and cooked and bring the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, oh Khalid, my people don't eat this. He said yes. But Khalid ate because it's halal. So if you want yourself, you can say I don't eat, but don't make it something that is religion. We don't come from, people come from different places in the world. People come from different places of the world. And as we have said, we are not equal the same. To do with also dresses also, yeah. Some of us in the community have got our own cultural dresses. Some of these dresses does not apply to Islam. Especially our wives and women and sisters. We see them not having the right dress in Islam, and when you ask them, they will say, this is our culture. What is this culture? The culture that goes opposed to Islam, the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We see dresses that are not covering the whole body. We see them, especially for girls. And we see that as a traditional culture, that is not allowed. The thing that is allowed in the dress code in Islam is the one that covers everything. That covers everything. So these are kind of things that we need to cross the boundaries and reach to Islam and Iman. The Arabs in the time of sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they used to have this culture also. They used to have a she camel, al-bahira, called al-bahira she camel. And this she camel, it gives birth to 5 kids. 5 kids, they will never slaughter it. And they never use it, and they will leave it, do everything. They say this is blessed. This is blessed. So the she camel will go and even do everything. It will eat, farms and eat everything, and nobody's going to touch them because they think that if you touch this, something bad will happen to the community. We have that culture also in our community also. Don't do this because no, that will happen to us. We have to do this because if we don't do that, will happen to us. Does that have roots in Islam? Does that have roots in Islam? We need to come back to the pure of Islam and Iman. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم والبر الكريم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always telling us to hold to the book of Allah and the Sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There was an issue in the time of Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A man by the name of Zayd bin Haritha. A person who has been beloved by the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, been raised by the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Originally he was a slave. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam freed him. He was a very nice person. And then the Prophet ﷺ went to look the hand of his aunt's daughter, Zainab bint Jahsh. Zainab bint Jahsh, the Prophet ﷺ wanted Zayd to marry Zainab bint Jahsh. Zainab bint Jahsh is Quraysh. And Zayd bin Harith is originally a servant, slave. That's how they married. So Zainab bint Jahsh said, Ya Rasulullah, I can't marry slave. I can't marry slave. Although he's freed, originally a slave, I'm a Sayyida in Quraysh. I'm a woman that is known in her tribe, in her community. How on earth will I marry this a servant slave person? The Prophet ﷺ was not happy with that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded, وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَمُؤْمِنَةٍ إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا أَنْ يَكُونَ لَهُمُ الْخِيَرَةُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِمْ وَمَنْ يَعْصِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ فَقَدْ ضَلَّ ضَلَالًا مُبِينًا. If Allah and His Messenger, they decide something, then the believers, men and women, they do not have any decision whatsoever in interfering in that. Indeed, whoever follows and obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is successful. And whoever disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is led astray. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. The response was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Zayd radiallahu anhu married Zaynab, although it didn't last for long. Later the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam married, but Zayd bin Haritha married Zaynab. Though Zaynab was from Masas, from Quraysh, and Zayd was from a servant, a slave of Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So what we judge in Muslim community is an iman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَى صُوَرِكُمْ وَلَا إِلَى أَجْسَامِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَى مَا فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not look at your faces and your body and your wealth and your status and your power. Indeed, He will look at your hearts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. So whoever his heart is pure, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that person is the one who succeed. It is not the way we look ourselves in the community today. Once the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was with his ashab, sitting with them, a man passed by, a very known person in the community, as we do today. Rich, has a name in the community. So he said when he passed, do you know this man? He said, what do you think or what do you believe about this man? He said, Ya Rasulullah, if this man speaks, people will hear him. He has identity. They will stand for him. إِذَا شَفَّعَ يُشَفَّعَ. If you want to intercede, if you go someone to intercede, people will allow. You know, you tell him, I have a problem, please come with me and talk to this person. People will stand and believe and hear. Rasulullah said. وَإِذَا طَلَبَ النِّكَاحَ زُوِّجْ. And if you ask for a lady, people will marry you. Another young man came, a very poor young man. Rasulullah said, what about this one? He said, Ya Rasulullah, this one, if he stands before the people will not listen to him. They will never. If you want to intercede, they will never accept his intercession. If you want to ask for a lady, they will never give him. This is how the society is today. This is how brainwashed we are. We judge people through their identity, through their status and powers. But the Prophet ﷺ said, this poor person is better than that rich person and filled the whole earth. Only this person is better than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what the Prophet ﷺ is saying. And that's how the Quran and the Sunnah of Prophet ﷺ is teaching us. These cultural issues that it is holding us back to learn and study our religion, we need to drop them. We need to leave it. We need to abandon it. These cultural barriers. And by the way, also this culture we are practicing today, the non-Muslims in the media, they are accusing us this is a part of religion today. They talk about forced marriage. They say Muslims force their wives. You know, it's the kind we're talking about. They say Muslims are racist, don't allow their women to be married. This is something we're talking about. They decree and look down women. So these are kinds of, even the non-Muslims, when they see, and this issue we're talking about is not a part of any Islam. It is our own cultural and traditions that we need to abandon and to free ourselves. To free ourselves. This never existed in the time of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Cultures all were swept out by Al-Islam. They were cleared. Racism was there, it's gone. People who are seen like people who are rich, they are gone. So these cultures and boundaries, we understand that our religion is more important than that. Our brotherhood is more important than that. The brotherhood that brings us together. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. Indeed, the believers are one. No matter where you come from, they are one. You're all the same. We are all from Adam, and Adam is from dust. وَآدَمَ مِنْ تُرَابٍ, as the Prophet ﷺ is telling us. So, we shouldn't be holding to this culture. Alhamdulillah, some of the cultures that apply, they are okay with Islam. But we make these cultural and traditions more better and more forward and more believed than the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see brothers and sisters today, they are more so focused on these cultures than to Al-Islam. We are so focused to this. But when we come to Al-Islam, it's nothing to do with that. We should bring our hearts to